What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 7 of the Humble Threads podcast. I'm your co-host, Michael Hart.
And I'm your other co-host, David Graves.
Gang, you know, we say this almost every single week when we end up doing this, but it's been a real one out there, ladies and gentlemen. Like I've got some things to share, and I know that there's some of you out there listening that are pretty eager to kind of understand things. The same thing with Graves. I know Graves has some tea to spill, if you will.
Yeah.
But let's dive right in, everybody. Let's get right into this humble conversation because we want to show off for you guys today about what's going on in our world. And speaking of that, David, talk to me. What's good in the world of Graves?
Man, everyone's been keeping up with everything going on. Last month, the last Thursday of that month, I think is the last day I streamed. I am taking a break, and you guys have probably heard I was taking a break. Man, like Mike said, it has been a real one in these streets. Let me tell you. Life is just punching me. I'm in the corner right now. If this is a boxing match, I'm in the corner just taking hits. The body hit. There was an uppercut somewhere in there. Could have been 3. I don't know anymore. But unfortunately, with my job, as much as I enjoy them and everything else like that, they aren't progressing with me being full time. I'm only part time. So you can imagine getting a house, having all these things, living with your girlfriend. $600 and some change ain't gonna cut it. For bills and such every 2 weeks. So I've been recently going through that with myself and my girlfriend. She's very understanding, and she understands I'm in a tough spot and it's not my fault. No matter like any thoughts we and her have about certain things, it's always like, well, we're not breaking up. This is literally our only issue ever, is trying to get money and get ourselves to the highest peak we can be in our respective fields. But it's a situation we have to deal with numerous of times, especially with me graduating now in the worst time ever to get a job because the pandemic is just messing with jobs. So I'm trying to fix that. That's the biggest issue with that. So that means either I'm door dashing, I'm doing freelance, I'm working my actual job. I'm always trying to get some extra money, and streaming 2 days out of the week kind of cut into that. So I had to make the big boy decision and say, you know what, I'll see you guys when I see you on TikTok or Twitch, YouTube. Maybe a Twitch rerun or something, or YouTube, or on one of my friends' Twitch if I'm playing with them. But that's been kind of my life, man. It's been rough. It's been a rough time. So what's been going on with you, man?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, there's no easy way around it. But they say money's not everything, but it ranks pretty high up there with oxygen. Mm-hmm. No matter what, if you're gonna exist in this world, you're gonna need some of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, side hustles, man. I mean, that's a lot of the reason why some people get into whether it's content creation or they start doing side hustles in terms of like door dashing, like you said, or Uber or any of those things, is to try to supplement that part of an income to allow them to have a little more flexibility. And I totally agree with that. I think everyone should have some form of side hustle because it's kind of like your ace in your back sleeve, or your back pocket, and it's the kind of thing that at least you have that. Mm-hmm. And now like kind of going through a little bit of what you've dealt with over the past like week or so, really going hard with it.
Yeah.
It's possible, right? So it's like now if you're in you find yourself in a pinch, you have something that maybe isn't the most fun or isn't the best situation for you, but like in a pinch, I definitely think it's awesome.
Well, even with that, one thing I've realized, and my brother is older now, and he's 40 something, which is crazy to think about. But he has 3 jobs, and I was like, dude, do you need 3 jobs because you're struggling? And that's immediately the stigma of you have multiple jobs, you must be struggling. My brother's like, no, my one job covers everything. The other money is to help me fund my business efforts, for what he's doing. Like, he's a credit specialist and he also does real estate. So all that extra money is going to that. One thing he always told me is your main job, never touch that money for anything but house bills, groceries, or something you have to do for your wife and or girlfriend. So he does that, whether, like I said, stocks, whatever you can do. Yeah. You got to take risks with that extra money so that we have 2 forms of income. But
I agree. Yeah.
I want to say this, man. I want to get to you because it's enough about me. You guys hear a lot about me. I appreciate all the thanks. But Mike, some people have come to me, man, with some questions. They're like, "Yo, is Mike good? Is everything straight? Where'd he go? Is he on vacation?" If you wouldn't mind, please inform me and the people.
Yep. Let's dive in. All right. So, I mean, for those of you who know me in the content creator space, I've been pretty regular, pretty consistent, going hard with Twitch streaming since I came back to streaming in end of September of 2020, and have kept a 3-day-a-week schedule ever since. We were moving very quickly into my 6th month of doing all of that, and it's been incredible. I've basically revived a completely dead Twitch channel. Completely rebuilt a lot of my branding thanks to Graves. Rebuilt my community, the Grove. You guys are amazing. Much love to every single one of you. And we've had an amazing time. Just providing me a stage to share my passion of being an entertainer, being someone that showing a part of me that I don't get to show on a regular basis. That I love and I miss sometimes when I don't get to do it. That being said, there comes a time, and this time, comes for a lot of people at different times for different reasons. When you find that even though you are pursuing something that's a worthy ideal, you are having success with it. You are seeing productive growth. You're seeing things really flesh out for you. It still comes a time for you to kind of check yourself and realize, am I being destructive to myself and my mental health by pursuing this so headstrongly and so determined, and what am I beginning to sacrifice that I haven't really noticed? A really great example of this is, if you've never heard of it, is called the frog in the water. I guess it's like an analogy or kind of an anecdote, meaning that if you put a frog in cold water and slowly increase the heat of the water in the pot, the frog sadly won't jump out because it gets too used to the temperature increase and eventually will pass away in the heat of the boiling water. Versus if you throw a frog into boiling water, it'll jump out immediately because it knows it doesn't want to be there. And so basically what I kind of felt myself feeling was, I was feeling like a frog in hot water. I kind of started realizing that, yes, I was having a lot of fun streaming. I was having a lot of success streaming, breaking, my own little streamer goals left and right, really having a blast. And honestly, having a lot of people being super inspired by the things I was doing. And, I was building some really strong relationships all around the community, specifically around my Dead by Daylight content, as well as my Marbles Fridays streams. But yeah, I realized that there were things in life that I was obviously neglecting. I was rampantly neglecting sleep. I was if you knew anything about who I was prior to getting back into streaming, I was the kind of person that was going to bed relatively early so that I could wake up relatively early and have a very productive morning. But I found that the more I was diving into the content, I was ignoring my normal sleep schedule, going to bed much later, waking up at my normal times. And I started seeing a pretty serious decrease in my appetite, because the more for some reason, when I was depriving myself of sleep, I was just losing interest in eating, and I was just so content focused. I was always trying to do a lot of pre-show notes, how can I bring the best content? How can I do this? And it started becoming something that I was over prioritizing, in terms of relationship things, in terms of house chores, in terms of just everyday life outside of streaming. And it sucks because it was it's so awesome to see something grow and see actual results, whether it's just numbers or growth or viewership or financial reimbursement or anything like that. It's incredible to see it, but when you realize it's at the cost of your relationships, it's at the cost of your own mental health, and that, you really need to start focusing on doing the things that you like doing for the right reasons. And, I had for the record, I decided this past Thursday that I was going to take an indefinite hiatus at least until further notice. I do plan to return. I will not forever be away from streaming, but it's something that I feel like I need to step away from, so that when I go back to it, I'm going back to it because I'm genuinely excited to be on that camera and be live with everybody and have a purpose to be there, versus feeling like I'm just filling the slot that needs to be filled. And I just want everyone to understand that goes against that goes entirely towards me. I cannot thank my audience enough. I cannot thank my community enough. You guys have been absolutely like overpouring in just appreciation and understanding for for me kind of coming forward and being honest and just saying, hey guys, I need a little bit of time to work on me. I need to reprioritize what I want to be doing. That being said, although yes, I will not be streaming for the next foreseeable future, and I do not have a return time, I will be back. Although I can give you that nugget. I will be back at some point. But in the meantime, what I want you to know about is I will be doubling down on my interest here on the Humble Threads podcast. Really trying to bring out some high caliber content here, because I really enjoy this side of things. And this is kind of a new journey for me and Graves, and we are just having such a good time with it. And we really believe in a lot of things can come from this, that not only we will benefit from, but we will benefit together as a community begins to grow around this and in it of itself. As well as I'm also going to be doubling down on my YouTube content, specifically when it comes to my yo-yo page, my Throw Lab yo-yo page. Been seeing a lot of really incredible recent engagements on my yo-yo YouTube channel, thanks to the new YouTube Shorts. And I feel like there's a lot. I now have a much larger audience over there that I now need to create some more high caliber content for. So I'm really excited to kind of do some, pre-recorded stuff, like not stuff doesn't require me to be live. And then as well as, the occasional TikTok and Instagram and things like that. So, the Kingpin Caribou is not completely going away. He's just, kicking it easy for a little bit. Everyone deserves a little bit of a vacation, once in a while. I mean, I don't know, like, to kind of speak towards you, Graves, because I know you're taking a break as well, slightly for different reasons. But all together, it's all about that mental health and that quality of life, and I think that's really important. But you sent me this TikTok the other day, and it really just hit home. Like, and basically the guy on the TikTok, he's a streamer. And he gives out, streamer tips on TikTok, is is usually how they preface most of their videos. And he had some really awesome things to say. He has this point of view where it's like, I don't stream on a schedule. You can stream on a schedule, like that there is some value to that. But I stream when I want to stream because I love streaming, and I'm not going to stream if I'm not having a fun time doing it. And while that mentality, is very freeing. I do agree that there is value in some kind of structure or showtime, but I do also agree that you don't need to be streaming 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, or even once a week. You could be streaming once a month. And as long as you are creating content elsewhere, building your other platforms, and then allowing that one day maybe to stream, be the one day that you get to be live definitively with your community. So to stop making the stream itself a content powerhouse, like spreading your wealth, around your other platforms, because you see the value in it, versus like committing, all your eggs in one basket on streaming.
Yeah, I mean that definitely hit me too. And Mike has said it also with why we're taking a break and everything, but we'll kind of get into that a little bit later also with another topic. But it's funny because me and Mike, we talk once every 2 weeks, during the podcast with you guys, we're always texting. But me and Mike are very similar, and it's hilarious because I'm thinking of the same stuff, house chores, relationship wise, sleep. I'm very terrible. If you have friends like mine, they'll be like, one more game, or something like that, and you end up going to bed at 2 a.m. and you got to be up at 7 for work. So things start to change. You notice your mood starts to change and everything. And I feel like that guy is right, and you were also right with streaming, like Mike said, there should be a structure. So it's like I stream Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I mean, you're not keeping any promises. If you don't show up, you don't show up. But also dumping some stuff into different things, such as TikTok or doubling down on your YouTube, like you said, like I usually try and make gaming TikToks and like chop them up and everything else like that. But I just did one of just myself. I did two that were kind of funny. I sent them to you and some other people.
Yeah, they were good.
They found them hilarious, and I had the same amount of likes I had on that I had on my gaming stuff. So it's like, I don't always have to do gaming TikToks. Maybe I can do funny ones or vlogs or something else like that. It still brings audiences to me, but I don't have to have such a heavy presence on streaming and stuff. But I mean, I completely agree with everything you were saying, though, Mike. So
yeah,
guys, whew, Mike was right. It's hard these streets right now, guys. We'll keep you updated on what's happening with us as time goes on. Me and Mike are okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
yeah. No. Oh no. So. I can't stress enough to anyone listening to this that we are okay.
Yeah.
Things are fine. The world's not coming to an end. It's just we've kind of reached a point where we know what streaming can provide. We know what we can do with it, and we want to find a way to make each stream have so much more value. Not just for you guys, but for us as well. Like we want to be able to bring our A game so that you get an A game style of experience.
Yep.
And maybe that is cranking it back to once a month or just like once in a while when it seems pertinent to do it. Like versus making it the main content, because I know that both myself and Graves and maybe a lot of you out there listening have so much to give. And often we forget that we have more than one avenue to give it, and sometimes go too head over heels dialing in on one specific thing, and we can get lost about other things we could be doing that might bring us a more positive or easygoing result. But with that being said, gang, we are going to take a quick ad break, have a little bit of a couple words from our sponsor, and we will be right back.
All right. Okay, there was a quiet spot. All right. That was a pretty good one. Pretty good first half.
Yeah.
I'm about to get into the second one. Yeah, man.
Cool.
I completely agree with everything you were saying. Like, me and Ashley were having conversations about us. Like, me playing games, and, like, she wants me downstairs hanging with her. I mean, granted, she usually falls asleep with the dog, and then I'm sitting there.
Right.
I didn't want to watch.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, to kind of elaborate more with you, like now we're in kind of like ad space.
Yeah.
It kind of comes down to the fact, like, it's not that me and Carolyn didn't have an agreement, like, because we did, like, we were viewing my stream as like a second job, and so during the 3 days that I was streaming, during those hours, I wasn't going to be interrupted. I wasn't going to be asked to do anything because I was doing a job and I was, bringing money in, right? Because I make consistent money on Twitch through everything, and so there was never like that kind of contention of like, oh, you're not doing things that you should be doing. It was more so the fact that I like the spare time I had when I wasn't streaming, specifically on the days that I was going to stream. Like, for example, when I would, wake up at, 5 a.m, clock in by 6 a.m, work until 4:30, have half an hour to get the dogs fed, get them outside, get them do their business, get back inside, eat something, and then be live by 5. Was like only because I wanted to be done by a certain time so that A, I could still see my wife, and B, get to bed at a reasonable time. But the problem was that, like, I was beginning to like shortcut things, because I wanted more time in between, ending my day job to start my stream job, and like on the weekends or the days that I wasn't streaming, I found that I was being considerably more lazy because, like, I was overworking myself because I already work 10-hour days Monday through Thursday, and Wednesday and Thursday when I'm streaming on top of those 10-hour days, like, I'm really burning myself close. And it just reached a point where I was making A, selfish decisions, B, lazy decisions, and C, like unthoughtful or uncaring decisions that didn't, that would potentially cause arguments with my wife or cause us to do things that or even have conversations that just shouldn't happen because, there's no reason that I should have did or do or have done what I did. The only reason was the fact that I was neglecting my own responsibilities by kind of becoming obsessive with with what I was doing with streaming. And I just said, you know what? Like, that's not me. That's
Yeah.
not why I stream. That's not why we do this. Like, I agree that the original reason I came back to streaming was shortly after my wife lost her job back in late September, and we had to find a way to make more income. And I was like, well, hey, I'm a charismatic dude. I can get on a camera and see if I can get people to give me money. And like essentially that's what it was when I first started came back. I mean, like I wanted to build something, sure, honestly, but and then once we were out of the woods on that, and it was now just, hey, I'm growing a platform that's paying me. You know, let's do everything we can to make it as you know, the higher quality as possible. But at the end of the day, I still was sacrificing far too much. And I think that if I ever return to streaming, which I believe I will, like I say ever as if I'm not going to, but like I say, if I ever going to come back to streaming, it's not going to be because I'm planning on becoming a famous streamer. It's going to be because it's the opportunity for my audience to see me, hang out with me. And I don't think I'm going to play video games. I think they're only going to be just chatting stream.
Well, I was going to say that also, like, because driving around, like, I've had some time to think to myself. And we'll probably get that back into more with, the creator thing. But
right.
Okay, yeah, but
it's, right after we talk about Destiny.
Yeah, so I don't. It was kind of hard to. Because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, I love streaming. I was like, but I'm making a little bit of money, but at the same time, like, I need to be door dashing. But I was sitting there thinking, like, me and Mike have talked, like,
yeah.
I was like, we love streaming, but I was like, I don't think streaming's where it's at for us. Like, we could always stream and like make some more money and everything else like that. But I really think, like, for us to blow up, like, people love the podcast. I really think if we made Under Siege go to a different level, as far as like I was saying, hey, if we went to axe throwing and like had a little bit of a vlog with it or whatever, I think people would really enjoy that and seeing that. Also, you're just chatting streams, like, yeah, you don't need to play video games. Everyone just comes in.
They're fire.
Yeah,
like, yeah, my just chatting streams have always been really, really good.
I think we're just creators, like the content creator.
Right, like I don't need to play a video game to to be on Twitch, and I think that's kind of how I want to do it. Like, I think eventually, like, I think the soonest thing that's going to happen for me is my Discord will eventually be reopened, so that people can then, you know, continue to engage there as a safe, cool space to hang out. And then what I'll do is that, like, I'm going to be doubling down on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, putting out my content elsewhere, building my brand in general, just building me as a brand, and then, you know, and then and then only not even tweet it out. Like, don't even tweet anything. I'll only make an announcement in the Discord. Hey, Discord friends, like, I'm gonna go live today. We're gonna do just chatting. Please join me. And that way I'm only streaming for an intimate crowd for an intimate reason, and it's not this big spectacle like I'm trying to gain new followers.
Yeah.
And I think that will have so much more power and value to the people that are interested in staying connected with me than just showing up to watch me play Dead by Daylight.
I was thinking, I was pretty much thinking the same with me. I was like, yo, like, I love streaming and everything else like that. I have a good bit of people who watch me, but I was like, in my niche, it's fun when I was playing Marvel Avengers, a lot of people were coming in to find out about comics and like having fun with that and collecting and everything else like that. And I was like, you know what? Like, I can always stream some stuff every now and then if I want to, or like if it's a big group thing or something. But I, just like you said, I was going to double down on YouTube where I can do a playthrough of Marvel's Avengers. I don't really have to ask people questions. If people are in the comments, you can talk to me that way, or also do collecting videos like, yo, I got this or whatever, blah blah. This is my review for Marvel's Avengers. So like, I'm intimacy, but not.
The kind of content I want to do is I want to just film gameplay and then do voiceover.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
And then just go back through and then record like a commentary over the game about what was happening or what I was doing or what the. I think that's stronger content than being live on camera and doing all of that with a chat.
I completely agree. Also, like I said, Under Siege. Like, if my basement was done and we could do like a rock band, like funny game thing where like you're the singer and like we could all get dressed up or whatever.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fun. Like, people can go. I don't have to clip anything. Like, I just do that. It's funny. We're having our friends in there, because once you have people behind you, like me and you, we got Billy and everything else like that, they can be creating content, we can, and it's also us not killing ourselves, because we know somebody's going to post something. So That's why I was like, content creator. I think me and Mike have that on lock. Video game players, we are there, but unless you're doing tournaments or something like that, you're not going to be making a substantial amount of money to be like, you know what?
Oh no, yeah, I'm very much more of the casual player.
All right. And speaking of that,
yeah, we can dive in.
All right.
So just I want you to cue me, and just maybe say something about like, yo, Mike, like I know that you're a big Destiny 2 player. Some recent stuff is going down. I need to know about it. Like, and then like ask, and then I'll tell you, and I'll talk to you about it. You know.
Gotcha.
Throw me the ball, and I'm gonna crack it out of the park.
All right, here we go. And we're back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. I hope we didn't, get you guys too scared in the beginning or anything else like that. That was us explaining stuff. Everything is fine. I will reiterate that again, like Mike said. But that being said, with video games, a game that I've had a lot of love-hate relationship with. I've bought it about 5 times for a couple different consoles. Mike keeps telling me to get back into it. I hear some exciting stuff's happening. Please, Mike, tell me what's happening. Are you going to make me buy it for a 6th time? Let's see. Here we go.
Yo, I honestly, I think right now is the time to buy it, because the thing I'm going to talk about is they've been like Bungie, the creators of the game, have been like they've acknowledged it. They have said they're going to fix it and remove it, but there's a little bit of like ambiguous. Maybe we'll bring it back. There's a lot of articles going on right now, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, please wake up and go and open your eyes and turn on any kind of gaming forum that everyone is talking about this. It is the 12-man Destiny 2 raids and party style games. Basically, if you don't know, in Destiny, typically you enter into fire teams. Typically for a raid, you have a fire team of 6. For strikes, you have a fire team of 3, and so on and so forth. And it's always been restricted. And recently, there was a glitch that I guess, honestly, it's kind of the story's still out because they're not sure if the glitch has always been there and no one's ever known about it, or if the recent Beyond Light patch kind of put it in there, and no one's really entirely sure. But basically what it is if you have 2 separate fire teams of 6, and then one team hits launch on the raid event, and then right as the counter gets down to 2 seconds, if the other party then joins the lobby of the party that is launching the raid, it will just shoehorn you into the same raid and or mission. Right now, there's an exotic quest called the Presage, and you can do 12-man mastered presages to get the new Dead Man's Tale scout rifle, and it's just absolutely insane. Please Google 12-man raids, and you're just going to see some crazy pictures and footage on YouTube of 12 Guardians throwing 12 Nova bombs at the main bosses and wiping full raid bosses in like 10 seconds. And it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like raids that would take, standard teams upwards of 2 hours to complete are being completed in less than 35 minutes because of how unbalanced it has now become, now having all these Guardians in it. Is it breaking the game? Is it breaking the experience? There are some hot takes on both sides of this. I don't know, Dave. I know you've been in the game. I don't know if you've ever experienced a raid, but like, can you imagine going into something like that with 12 Guardians just ready to just like mess stuff up?
Mike, I guess we'll have to buy this for the 6th time, but that's kind of crazy. But
gotta be quick.
Yeah,
they might fix it. They keep tempting it.
Apparently, they're trying to expand sizes of stuff too. I've heard that, and CJ's been talking to me about that. But tying it back into taking a break from streaming and depending on what our plan is and everything like that. I love Destiny. It might be a hard game to stream, but it would be cool for like me, Mike, CJ. I know Kev has it. Like if we did the Crucible or like Trials of Osiris and stuff like that and whatever, and we could film that and put it like on our Under Siege channel or something. That'd be cool to film. But dude, that's kind of why I've done the Vault of Glass raid.
Okay.
I might have done one more raid after that. I remember staying up countless nights trying to complete that raid with my friends. Like, yo, we're getting on a 2 tomorrow. We had the hard save. We're just going to spawn in and get it done. But I do remember going in, like, just grinding for those weapons, like the rare drops out of the Vault of Glass and everything. But Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't experienced that. I've never seen
Well,
12.
and what's crazy about this, right? So like,
Yeah.
not every guardian out there or that's what they call the players in the game are
Mhm.
guardians. Not every player and not every player gets the luxury of experience raids in general, because you do
Mhm.
need 6 of your friends or 5 of your friends, total party of 6 to do a raid. And like, anyway, you can't, like, if you go in a raid solo,
Mhm.
there's mechanics and like puzzles in the raids that you just can't do by yourself.
Yep.
You need at least a couple other people with you. And and there are triumphs in the games, like achievements, and some of those triumphs are known as like flawless completions, where you basically would make it all the way through to the end without dying once.
Yep.
And this is honestly the first time that tons and tons of guardians are able to even accomplish the flawless achievement. Now this is where the kind of like the hot takes come in, because people are now saying that it's kind of like they're calling it cheesing the game, and like you're getting emblems and achievements that maybe you don't really deserve because you got it through this glitch. One of the crazier ones is recently to get the catalyst for the Dead Man's Tail Scout rifle that's out right now. You need a master presage level clear, and right now with the 12-man glitch, basically you can just load into the map, and if you have a strong like core 3 or 4 guardians that just want to go ahead and clear it for you, everyone else can just hang in the initial spot, and then you get pulled finally to the final boss, and it clears, and you're done, and you never have to do anything. You can just sit there and emote the whole time. Yes, it's cheap. Yes, it's you can there's no easy way around it. It's cheating. Like it's for sure cheating, but I think it's just because of the history Destiny's had with some hits and some misses over the years of how they've taken care of some things. It's kind of about time that the devs did something in the game that just allowed us to as a community to have some of the most fun that we probably will never get a chance to do again. There's rumors going around that maybe, since they obviously are aware of every guardian that's doing this because they can see it in the servers, maybe they'll send out like a special secret emblem to anyone who ever completed a 12-man like party event. I don't know. That would be kind of cool.
I think a lot of games should start leaning into stuff like that.
I think it would be cool to if they did 12-mans. Like if they brought it back as like an occasional event, like a seasonal event, would be cool. And maybe if you did get a completion that way, it would disqualify you from certain achievements. So it would stop like farming certain things that like you really shouldn't be able to get because you did it through the 12-man. I don't know. It's super cool. If you have Destiny 2 out there, if you have the ability to raid, if you're in a clan, and just talk to them, look it up. It's super easy to do, and it just changes the game. Like you have to experience this once because they will not keep it in forever. And the only other thing I wanted to talk about Destiny about is every year for Halloween they do the Festival of the Lost event, and they bring out an armor class or type for each of the guardian types, which is Hunter, Warlock, or Titan. So they all get their own special like Halloween themed outfits for cosmetics. Like every game these days have cosmetics and stuff like that. Fortnite was probably one of the first games to ever do kind of crazy cosmetics like that. But anyway, they've just released the options for this year's Season of the Lost, and it's going to be Team Dinosaurs, and it's going to be dinosaur outfits. Like one is like a velociraptor, one's like a rhinoceros, and so on. And then there's also Team Movie Monsters. I think there's like a swamp thing monster. There's like maybe a werewolf looking monster, and then some kind of like rhino looking guy. I don't even know. Like maybe he's like
an ogre or something.
An ogre, yeah, of some kind. I'm not, maybe like Cyclops or something. But anyway, I have to know whether you're gonna play the game or not. Are you Team Dino or are you Team Movie Monster?
Let me say this first of all. The only reason why I might get this game back again is because of these Halloween costumes. And I'm going to be honest. Something about that, I need to level up my Titan now, because now I'm getting mad. So I guess once Crossplay comes out, me and CJ will have to play with you and Carolyn sometime. But that Dino Titan costume is giving me strong Power Ranger vibes, and I need it. I
Yep.
need that.
Yep.
But at the
Team
same time,
Dino. Team Dino.
the Cyclops looks cool, but that Dino looks ridiculous. I don't like the Warlock one, but that Titan
Yeah.
looks
I agree.
sick. Holy.
I think the Hunter has the best one. The headpiece on the Hunter is so cool.
And his foot, the feet. If you guys
talons,
the Velociraptor foot has like the foot stick. That looks kind of cool. I don't play Hunter, but
yeah,
I'm Team Dino. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like, let us know, like we know we have that Twitter now, which is at Pod Humble, the Humble Podcast Twitter. Tweet at us. Are you Team Dino or are you Team Movie Monster? We want to know. What was super funny is I was doing a 12-man raid last night with my clan. Full 12 stack going through the Deep Stone Crypt, and my clan leader, he's like season rank 315. Keep in mind the season rank only goes up to 100, and it still has like about 60 some days left in the season, and he's already like tripled it. So this dude's like he's incredible. He's a pretty high ranked player, but either way, he was like, all right, just so everybody knows, if you're not Team Dino, you can leave the clan now. And just like this is like a clan of like 90 guardians.
Jesus.
And I don't know. There's a lot of like inter-clan debate about which one's better, but I think Team Dino is definitely gonna take it.
Well, tell him to let me in because I don't think we're part of the clan anymore. Damn, I gotta really get the expansions and stuff again.
It's great.
Jeez, guys. But that being said, also on top of what we discussed earlier and us talking about Destiny, because we're going to be playing that a lot. Look out for some YouTube videos or, I don't know, Twitch, who knows. One big thing, a topic I was touching on was dating a creator / an entrepreneur, which kind of ties into my conversation before. But Mike, I would love to hear your kind of take, because you are two creators, Mike and his wife. So I kind of want to hear your dynamic and how the understanding with that helps you out a lot.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, like, dating isn't really in my vocabulary, but like, because I am we are happily married. But yes, so a relationship with content creators, because I have previously been a content creator or just some kind of creator of some kind, and with somebody that was not, or when I was an entrepreneur and things like that. And so I can kind of see the difference on both sides, and there is definitely things to be said when you are the creator, or and your spouse or significant other is not. But for us specifically, we have a pretty cool dynamic, because like we look at our content that we create as kind of like planting seeds. And the same way that if you want to grow beautiful crops or flowers, you have to plant seeds. You have to water those seeds, take care of those seeds. Let them grow, get them sunlight, everything like that, help cultivate them. And so we hold a lot of value for each other's content, and we have a big level of respect. Like if she knows that I'm in here recording a podcast, or if I'm streaming, or or if I'm filming yo-yo content with my GoPro or whatever, she knows that like if wherever I'm doing that in the room, like to give me space to be able to get it done, not to bother me. And likewise, she does a lot of YouTube content specifically around makeup. She does tutorials. She does palette reviews. She does unboxings. And she does a show called Beauty and Brews, where she does really creative eye looks based on the colors and design of the craft beer cans label. Really cool stuff. Shout out my wife, Beauty and Brews on YouTube. But anyway, so like we have this understanding, right? So like, whereas previously, when you are the content creator and you're dating someone, or you're with someone who doesn't create in the same facet that you are, like, because content creators are creating content because they're building a brand, they see, a future maybe revenue source from it. And, we have to treat this baby, this seed, as something that is growing over time. And we have to provide a lot of attention to it. And that could cause a little bit of friction sometimes in relationships, because when you're pouring so much time and effort into something that you're genuinely passionate about, because you can see kind of where it's going, it's not always seen in the same light from a significant other that doesn't live in that world of content creation. And so we as the creator kind of have two roads to walk. Either we can continue to ignore the needs, the wants, the asks from the significant other, or in my opinion, the best choice is to educate.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that to be in like a condescending or patronizing way. I mean like if you're with someone that obviously you see longevity with, it's
Mhm.
important to cultivate that relationship just as much as it's important to cultivate what you are creating.
Mhm.
And by actually like letting them in on the content, not necessarily having like a say in what happens, but like building a schedule together, let them know where you're going, like build out a roadmap together as far as expectations or things that you want to do, or maybe if you want to do something kind of drastic or you want to commit to a schedule,
Mhm.
build that schedule with that significant other.
Mhm.
um, because that way there's accountability, there's ownership of what's going on, there's understanding from the get-go. There's none of this like, well, you said it would only be this day of the week kind of stuff coming in later.
Mhm.
When you've built that expectation prior to that, it makes any kind of hiccups along the road. Like for example, maybe you forget yourself, or maybe you just say, oh well, we can just do a little bit more this one day, or okay, yeah, one more game, I'll stay up a little bit later and kind of go past my schedule that we agreed to.
Mhm.
The more that you've engaged each other in the structure of what you're trying to create,
Mhm.
if there ever is friction, it's much easier to have a conversation about, okay, well, this isn't working and this is why, and versus just kind of being like, no, 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 everything's fine, clearly you're just not understanding, and like kind of
Mhm.
choosing to point out essentially ignorance as to like, they don't understand, clearly they don't understand what you're trying to do, and
Mhm.
maybe that's because a lot of us sometimes forget that we need to really be transparent with our significant others if this is something we're that passionate about that we want to pursue,
Mhm.
and we need to be willing to make concessions and or be willing to kind of settle on a collaborative resolution as to
Mhm.
how you can still pursue content, but also make sure that the time of the significant other is still considered, and you're doing everything you can to still be present in that relationship,
Yeah.
meanwhile pursuing what you got to do. That's
Yeah.
kind. I mean, that's kind of like that's like a mouthful, but
Mhm.
as far as living with someone that's a content creator, it is a little bit different. But ultimately, the more you engage with each other's schedule and understanding like the intentions behind the content, I believe it makes conversations and or rough parts much easier to deal with.
Yeah, I was thinking about this a lot because I do get a lot of questions about me and Ashley's relationship because I'm the artsy one. She's like a book smart person, and not as artsy as I am. And one big thing that people always say who are like artsy and everything else like that, a lot of them hear a voice in their head. No, that doesn't mean you're crazy, people. It means that you're hearing yourself talk to yourself. So if I'm sitting there looking at a bag of chips, I'm thinking in my head like, David, do you really want a bag of chips? You're like, maybe we don't need a bag of chips. So like, I'm just, we're going back and forth. She doesn't hear that. So it kind of separates, and that's how someone's really book smart and everything. And we've been having conversations, like I've said before, guys. I'm door dashing on the side. I'm doing this and that. And I'm telling her, this is what I want to do. But she's like, why do you have to do the extra stuff? Why can't you just work your main job? And I said, huh. So okay, this is where the difference comes in. I was like, you like to go to work, but she's a respiratory therapist, and come home, sleep, and then sit there and watch TV on the couch. I was like, are you okay with that? She was like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that stuff I like to do. I just, be on my phone and hang with Coda, whatever else like that. I'm like, okay, yeah. When I do that with you, it's killing me. And she was like, what do you mean by that? I was like, I have like things going off in my head 24/7. So like a lot of the things that we do, such as streaming, such as YouTube. I want to create a comic book one day with my friend Les. Look out for that, people. It should be coming soon. I'm trying to get extra money to pay him for that. I do have the clothing thing I do because I love clothes and I want to make my own clothes and have that be a source of second income. I'm like, that's the stuff I want to do. Like, I'm having fun, I'm relaxing, but you don't understand that. Like, you just see it as me taking time away from you, or also you just see it as like, oh, David's kind of wasting his money on something where it's you're taking a chance or a risk to chase your dreams or to have a second piece of income. And you're going to lose money when that happens. The wise man once said, "You never learn anything from winning. Really, you learn a lot from losing, a lot." So, it's kind of funny trying to. It's like dipping and dodging and explaining it, and I'm trying to explain stuff to her, like my collections of stuff. She's like, "Why do you have like 80 pops and like these many comic books and everything else like that?" And I'm like, "Well, it makes me happy, but also that's another side thing I like to do. Like I like to collect something. When I look at the comic of Thor beating Thanos, it's like, wow, I remember that moment, and it's very inspiring. I think also a lot of times creative people either have something deeper, such as like, they're either antisocial or whatever else like that. Like I have depression, so the way I combat my depression with my artsiness is I'm always thinking of something new, or like I'm making my own comic book story up in my head, or something like that to keep me happy, because that's the endorphins that keep you happy. And with depression, you get smacked and you're sad out of nowhere, kind of, which happens a lot. But with me, that's how I am. She can just sit there and chill, and there's no issues with it. And I understand she has a hard time relating to me in that way, and everything else we're great. Like I love her to death, and she loves me, and we can have conversations all the time. But when it comes to being a creator and entrepreneur, it's hard for people to understand that type of like artsy mind. Is what I was
Sure.
kind of getting at. But,
I mean, I think that's a very honest, snapshot into the standard how it goes. When in most situations where one person's a creator, the other person is, it just isn't. They work a completely respectable job, or they just have different goals in life. And I think the best advice, hands down, is just, if there is something about what you do that you love, obviously you do it because you like the part of creating, you like doing whatever you're doing in that space. If anything ever comes up in a conversation or even an argument where it's obviously something that they don't agree with or they don't understand, whoever your significant other is, ask them to assist in the solution. Like ask them to say, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. Maybe what would you do? Like what do you think would be a good idea for me to try something different? Because kind of bring this full circle as to our intro talks about stepping away from streaming a bit. The one thing I was realizing that I was doing was, even though I was getting reasonably good results, the results were not kind of where I was they were not going where I had intended. And I was realizing that in order to get a different result, I was going to have to do something drastically different. And I was going to have to get myself out of like the rat race, get myself out of like the hamster wheel of just kind of doing the thing to do the thing. We're choosing to step away. And honestly, I think in this moment that we have stepped away in that, we are able to finally get away from that, doing the same thing and expecting a different result and we actually now are doing something different, which will guarantee a different result. And the more that we can, engage our significant others, whether they are engaging directly with our content or with their own content or with their own goals and ambitions, I think the more that we can engage each other in the creative process, it breaks down a lot of misunderstanding barriers, gives each other an opportunity to further understand and on a deeper level why maybe they do what they do or they like the way they like, and maybe try it in reverse. Maybe your significant other isn't a content creator, but maybe she's interested in something. Maybe it's her job, maybe it's her pets, maybe it's her whatever. Take interest in something like that, because the more we give the things we want to receive, it is a lot more likely that we will begin to receive those things.
Yeah. And with that being, like with Mike saying that, and I'll leave it kind of at that, where it's a great idea to try and involve them. Like, I'm an artsy person. Ashley is a really big like grammar card writing person, and we've been in Hallmark or whatever, and she's like, it's like why don't they ever have like a godmother like happy birthday card, or a godmother happy Arbor Day card? Like, I don't know, whatever. But I was like, you know what, like, just like we could do that. Like, I have the skills to make a graphic or something cool like that, and you have the skills to write. And